Scrolling, and scrolling. I found myself encapsulated by the plethora of information on the dim light of my screen. Likes, comments, friend requests, videos, seemingly thousands of random people sharing my videos and liking my pictures. Each second I refresh my phone, a new notification, the rush of dopamine from my fingertips getting sent straight to my brain. And before I knew it, it was 3 o'clock. Something had to change. So I deleted social media. More specifically, my TikTok, my Instagram, my Snapchat, my Facebook. Really the only way that you could contact me through the computer was using Google Chat, and I downloaded it because I didn't have any more social media. The reason being is that I really just needed to reset, especially when I came into the new year. I had to reevaluate how I was operating and how my mentality was. And being a content creator, having different platforms is a double-edged sword, because you can bring awareness to whatever you're trying to educate your audience, but at the same time it becomes a grind. And once your hobby becomes a grind and it isn't fun to you anymore, that's when you got to reevaluate and say, is this something that I really want to keep on doing? At one point I think I realized that, and everyone makes New Year's resolutions, but I didn't want to just make a resolution. I wanted there to be some type of change, and I wanted there to be a difference in my mentality. I heard somewhere that it takes about a month for you to make something a habit. So I wanted to delete social media, everything about social media, for about a month so I could reset and just kind of focus on my life. I have a presence on all different type of platforms with YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and I made my TikTok in I think about March 2021 when I first had moved to Hawaii, and I started out with 0 followers. Within the next 2 months I had about like 10,000 already, and my niche or my thing was Space Force. Space Force was brand new, no one was really talking about it, and when you see a guy like me, like, to be honest, a Filipino dude randomly talking about the Space Force, that wasn't what people were expecting to see when the Space Force was initiated, right? So I took that and ran with it, and I really did enjoy educating people on the Space Force and what it did.
Oh, why do you guys wear the flag on your left shoulder?
I get the orange chicken. Thank you.
Sorry, just got off shift, but great question, ma'am. In regards to why we wear the flag on our left shoulder opposed to our right shoulder, I don't think it goes that deep into space doctrine. Instead, I personally believe it goes to our heritage. Air Force Space Command used to issue out blue flight suits, similar to these NASA flight suits for the astronauts. Eventually, that was phased out, and we got these green normal Air Force flight suits. They both share the fact that we wear the normal flag on the left side that is not reversed, opposed to the Army that wears their reverse flag on the right side. The big thing in the military is that on the uniforms, the Union needs to be assaulting forward. So this is correct, and I think if we use the Army US colored flag, then we would just get confused with soldiers, and people would complain about that probably even more.
But also kind of creating these little funny skits or just silly skits. That's what TikTok was to me. But when I started catching traction, I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. I kind of enjoyed it. I was able to collaborate with other influencers.
Grown people should never laugh!
But I think at this point in my life, one of the reasons I wanted to delete social media was to keep one app, and that was YouTube. I started YouTube back in 2011. My whole goal of YouTube was to basically document my military transition from becoming a high school kid, going through boot camp, becoming an airman in the Air Force, and just kind of documenting and what I've done to achieve that. And looking at it 12 years later, I'm almost going to be 13 years in the military with 9 years in the Air Force and maybe about 3 years in the Space Force now. I kind of had to reevaluate and say, hey, I want to focus on YouTube because I think I can be more of myself on YouTube. I can explain in an environment or video that facilitates more of that compared to TikTok. TikTok, there's a lot of keyboard warriors, and I'm not saying that YouTube doesn't have that as well, but TikTok is more of like that, people just talking trash, even Instagram. But mainly what I wanted to delete was TikTok. I think there is a thing, an algorithm with TikTok where they basically know how to keep you occupied and how to keep you constantly scrolling. And that's what I found myself when I really started to think about why I wanted to delete it. it was, right there in front of me. I'd wake up, and the first thing I do when I'd wake up is just start scrolling TikTok. I was starting to have a presence on Instagram as well. People were coming to my page from my TikTok, being like, this is the Space Force guy. Then, you're kind of chasing the likes, right? And you're like, oh, let me post something. Is there any engagement? In a way, the TikTok algorithm is compared to the YouTube algorithm. I found a lot more success in TikTok. I think at my highest, I had 80,000 followers on TikTok. And on YouTube, I was only at like 10,000 or something. But it also made me realize that I found more value in my subscribers on YouTube because they were there really just following every video. With TikTok, I was just so hooked, just scrolling any type of videos. And I think there is a benefit of TikTok having educational videos, but there are also so many negative things about TikTok with false information. I just started seeing that I was wasting all my time. I could spend hours scrolling. And so, I definitely wanted to delete TikTok. So I deleted that. And then I also wanted to delete Instagram because, again, when I started getting more people to follow me on Instagram, I started chasing the likes. I started looking for validation in people interacting with my post or liking or commenting. And it just really shouldn't be like that. I wanted to post things because I wanted to post them. Even with Instagram, when I saw people were taking my pictures and using them as fake profiles, it really made me concerned and think, who's really trying to steal my identity? This took me into a deeper rabbit hole, and I searched my name online. I was shocked to discover my personal information was available for anyone to see, including the city I live in and even my relatives' names. A coworker also showed me how someone could pull my age, home address, and previous addresses just by having my phone number. It's an incredibly unsettling feeling to know these intimate details about my life are out there for strangers to access. I started looking into ways I could reclaim my privacy. That's when I discovered Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura empowers me to take control of my personal data. It shows me exactly which data brokers are profiting from my information and handles opt-out requests on my behalf. Now I have peace of mind knowing my details aren't being bought and sold. Aura also safeguards me in other critical ways. It includes robust antivirus software, a VPN for secure browsing, and monitors suspicious activity on my credit and bank accounts. With so many layers of protection, I can browse and share online without worrying what might happen to my data. I value my privacy, and I value yours. Visit aura.com/spacejamtactical to start your free trial and take the first steps toward reclaiming your personal information. Being connected to military, you would get a bunch of other fake profiles that would gather the images or gather the pictures that you post in your profile, especially in uniform, and start posting fake profiles using those pictures. So people sending me profiles that weren't exactly me, and I wanted to dial that back too. Just kind of focus on everyday life. So I took all that stuff away. I never really used Twitter, and I slowly stopped using Snapchat. I don't really use that anymore, so that was pretty easy to delete. That was the whole reason that I wanted to delete social media. Even Facebook. Facebook is more for the older crowd, but Facebook was where I could see more of the people that I knew personally, opposed to just random people following you on TikTok or Instagram. But when it comes to social media altogether, I was constantly comparing myself to whether it was other influencers or content creators who were like more successful, or even people that I knew that I grew up with, and just seeing their lives and comparing my life to them, or hey, they started a family or they got married, and I kind of just got sick comparing myself to other people. And I think with social media, it's very hard not to do that. I ended up deleting all my social media for about a month, and when I hit a month, I said, it's actually not that bad. I was able to focus more on things that I wanted to do. I was reading books. I was out here enjoying things on the beach. And, I think I actually took a longer break. I thought once 1 month passed, I was going to reactivate all my social media accounts. And I think I was fine at that point. I know I'd hit that month mark. I wasn't constantly trying to look at my phone. Like my muscle memory when I first started, my hiatus from social media, I was constantly just trying to check my phone without the apps actually being there. And so that started to go away. I started focusing. I started actually getting things done. I started taking the gym more seriously. A thing that I also noticed when I had social media was I would get in my car. No matter where I was going, I'd be going from point A to point B. But at one point, whether before I got in my car or when I got to my car or when I got to the next location or my destination, I would park and then just start scrolling. And it really helped me be more aware of my time and make better use of my time. And so I think it was about a month and a half. I think I have a better handle on the itches of trying to look at my phone or go on social media or TikTok or Instagram. And so I reactivated everything. To be honest, I have fallen back into, sometimes I would start scrolling again and maybe even start scrolling on Instagram or TikTok. But after doing that 1 month break, a month and a half break, it does make me realize, hey, you can make better use of your time, and sometimes you do need to reset. When I took my break from social media, it did give me more of a chance to start focusing on my YouTube videos. I pushed out a couple more videos. I actually started having fun when I was editing my YouTube videos, which I think that kind of went away at one point. And that's why I started doing TikTok or focusing on Instagram. And I would really recommend anyone that was kind of on the fence about taking a break from social media to just do it. Start with a week, start with 2 weeks, and you'll see, hey, this isn't too bad. You make so much more use of your time, and you really just get to reset your whole mentality and the way that you think. I'm glad that I did it. I just want to say I really do appreciate you guys for watching, whether it's this video or my previous videos, and for all my older subscribers, thank you for just kind of supporting me throughout the whole process of my YouTube journey, because again, taking a step back, it really makes me value the people that have been following me and supporting me on my YouTube journey since I started. And if you did make it to this part of the video, thank you. If you have any comments, concerns, questions, leave them in the comments below, and I would love to cover some things that you guys are curious about. And if you guys are into that, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, the whole YouTube spiel, and that bell for notifications. But yeah, I came into YouTube to make content. I think another thing about doing YouTube was not just focusing on specifically Space Force and Air Force and military stuff, but just posting stuff in my life in general. That's the end of this video. Not quite sure how I was going to finish it out, but I do appreciate you guys. And as always, stay safe, keep grinding, and y'all take it easy.